Hey, this is the Kazarni We Hardly Knew Ye wrestling review show, and I'm Calum, one half of Kazarni We Hardly Knew Ye, the other being the oft missing Bobby, and this is an ECW review for the 24th of March. And I thought this was a fairly good show. I realised there was only 2 matches on the card, and probably people who watched it on TV, I watched it on the internet, were annoyed by the number of recap packages, but I just skipped them, so it seemed pretty good to me. The first match was John Morrison versus Carlito. I was looking forward to this match. I thought this match would come last week because we had Miz versus Primo a few weeks ago, but it came this week. And basically the Bellas are split now. So Nikki Bella comes out with Miz and Morrison, and Brie Bella comes out with Carlito and Primo. Basically, they both did the exact same dance at the top of the entrance ramp, but basically Nikki did a more slutty dance because she's the heel Bella with Miz and Morrison, and Brie did a more I love to dance sort of dance because she's the face. It appears the way they're characterizing them is Nikki is Brie rather is the sort of person you could let babysit your children, whereas Nikki is the sort of person who'd sleep with your teenage son. That appears to me how they're doing it. Anyway, Morrison Carlito was a good match, exactly how you'd expect. You know, they both got the sort of tinges of what could become main eventers. I'm not sure Carlito will ever get there. Morrison is definitely going to get there, but it was a good match. Why I say that main eventer thing is there were a lot of sort of reversals, and there was a lot of fake finishes, fake move into finishing moves, and they both had that sort of canny veteran thing where they're able to avoid the other person's move. So Morrison was trying all sorts of incredibly athletic, difficult-looking kicks, and Carlito was able to avoid them. Basically, Miz and Morrison try and leave the arena because they're getting their ass kicked. It annoyed me. They made Morrison look a bit bad during this match. He looked good, but he could have looked better. In fact, I think he could have won the match, given that Miz lost to Primo. But they try and leave the arena. Then Teddy Long comes out and he says, "No, you're not going to be able to leave the arena because we're making this and the match at WrestleMania a lumberjack match." And I was just like, I fucking knew you were going to overbook this match. This is one of the only matches on the card that could absolutely stand on its own as just a fucking brilliant tag team match. But no, you're going to add lumberjacks. So lumberjacks come out and they're a bunch of fucking lumbering idiots like the Great Khali and Kozlov. And I was thinking, Kozlov, Jesus Christ, 6 months ago, if he'd wrestled well, he'd be in the fucking main event of WrestleMania. Now he's going to be a lumberjack for the tag team match. And anyway, Miz and Morrison haven't tried to leave the arena before. It's not like they have a history of this, but for some reason Teddy Long has already decided to make it a lumberjack match. I don't know. It just seems like the most pointless overbooking, and also it's going to surely limit the amount they can do on the outside of the ring at WrestleMania. But anyway, this was a pretty good match, accepting all that crap. And Carlito hit a drop kick to the outside. The lumberjacks threw Morrison back in the ring. Carlito hit a backstabber and got the victory, and Nikki Bella was furious. And that was the end of that. Then we had The Think is going into the Hall of Fame, right? Now, they said last night on Raw they're going to announce who the next person is going to be on ECW. So I was thinking it would be someone to do with ECW, someone who'd been in the original ECW, like Paul Heyman. I know it would never be Paul Heyman, not for at least 25 years, but someone who'd been in the original ECW. But no, it's The Think, who's WWE through and through. And I'm just like, well, clearly you just couldn't be bothered announcing this on Raw, so you put it on ECW. Basically they played a video package of The Think's highlights, which were a lot of comic, semi-homoerotic moments, which I don't honestly remember, but I can now never ever forget. Then we had Raw Rewind. This is the thing that might annoy people. I didn't really watch it, but anyone who's watching ECW already watches Raw, and if they're not watching Raw, they're doing it and watching ECW, they're doing it for a reason, and that reason is they hate Raw. They hate all the storylines, the packed storylines on Raw, and they like to watch wrestling matches. So I don't know what this Raw Rewind accomplishes, but They just like to push Raw forever. And Raw's a fairly good show right now, so it's not that bad. It was the Triple H Orton thing, by the way. Yeah. Next match, Swagger and Kid versus Bourne and Dreamer. Now, if it had been, I know it doesn't make any sense within storylines right now, but if it had been Bourne and Christian, this would have been a fucking amazing match. Because the other three guys put on such a good show during this match. Kid and Bourne particularly. They started the match off. Lots of stiff sounding shots from Kid. Lots of, kicks and punches and stuff. And Bourne doing his usual high flying stuff. He did this thing. You know how when they hit someone in the chest and they're standing just outside the ropes and the person is leaning down inside the ropes, you think they're going to do a sunset flip? Well, Bourne went onto the top rope, and Kid got him in a powerbomb position, and then Bourne twisted it into a Hurricane Rana, which was just fucking awesome. Basically then, when Bourne and Kid were in the match was great. And it goes to the break, and Bourne and Dreamer have dominated the match, and I'm just like, I know when we come back from the break, Swagger is going to have Dreamer in a lot of trouble here, and that's exactly what happened. Swagger had Dreamer down, and basically we had 4 minutes of, sort of a heel beatdown, which I like in like 15-minute pay-per-view matches, but in 10-minute TV matches, we don't need this bit. Just have it all action. Maybe a minute of this. We don't need this whole big bringing the crowd down thing. Anyway, Dreamer eventually tags Bourne. Bourne does a beautiful kick to Swagger, which knocks him off the apron. Then he gets Kid. He goes up top. Kid leaps up top. Again, this is brilliant. And Bourne knees him in the chest. He falls back down, Bourne hits the shooting star press and gets the win. This was such a good match, and it really worries me that these guys, because they're both, Kid and Bourne, because they're both just like 200 pounds, they might never become heavyweight champions, and they are both amazing wrestlers, and I really hope that they are able to climb the ladder properly. This was a really good match, except for the bits when Dreamer was in. Also, I didn't really understand. Surely this is to further an angle of some kind, but it looks like it's going to be Kid Bourne at WrestleMania rather than Bourne Swagger, so no ECW title match. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know why Swagger hasn't been competing on ECW for the last few weeks. They covered it up and said it was because he only gets into the ring when he's ready to, and I was like, no, you just clearly don't know how to book him. There's going to be no ECW title match at WrestleMania, which is a shame because Swagger is a good wrestler. And they have some competitors in Bourne and Kid who could give him a really good match. But anyway, final section was MVP's VIP Lounge. Basically, I was wondering why MVP gets to do his show and Christian doesn't get to do the peep show here. And MVP actually brought that up. He said, we were going to do an episode of the peep show, but Christian covered for it, clearly, rather than acknowledging the fact that nobody in the backstage of the WWE gives a shit about him. He covered it up and just said, I knew this would turn into a brawl, so I didn't want to get my furniture wrecked, which was a good joke and kind of saved it and saved Christian's face. Christian's just great. I really, just don't bury him. He is so good. MVP did a really solid promo here. Kofi Kingston did quite a good promo as well. CM Punk did an okay promo. Shelton Benjamin, I was just praying for him to be good, and it was so bad. They just need to stop Shelton talking. Just give him like Bret the Hitman's Heart gimmick, where you're just like, I'm a great wrestler, so I'm gonna win. That simple. Not trying to talk smack because he's so terrible. The show ends with Mark Henry and Finlay try and say something. Finlay's dressed up in a suit. I don't know why. He loves to dress smart these days rather than fight. Show ends with Kane, who doesn't say anything. He just laughs demonically and then sets his fire off from the ring corners. It was a good segment. I wish it had been the peep show rather than the VIP lounge. Once again, WWE showing they don't care about Christian. But they all did their thing, and it was guys you don't usually get to hear talk, and MVP particularly and Christian were good on the mic, so yeah, that was good. So anyway, this is your show. Rate, comment, subscribe, ask questions, do whatever you want, and I'll see you for a SmackDown review. Okay, bye.